Hey, you've got a new album
Yeah.
out. It's called After Hours. Can you tell us a bit about the record?
Well, it's a collection of love songs. You know, it's a very romantic record. It's a record I've worked on for about the last 2.5 years with a couple of my buddies from the Eagles keyboard section, Michael Thompson and Richard Davis. It's songs ranging from the early 1930s to the mid 1960s. So, like you know, but basically it's a romantic record. It's a lot of love songs that I like.
So I read that it's quite a personal album for you. It's sort of a tribute to your parents, I understand.
Well, it's definitely there. You know, I'm very fortunate that both my parents are still alive. So I felt a sort of an urgency to get this record recorded and finished. You know, while they were still around. So fortunately, that's happened. They like the record.
It's been 20 years since your last studio album. Why the delay?
Well, two big things happened in the early 90s. I got married and I started a family. That's the one thing. And then the Eagles got back together in 94. So all of a sudden, you know, those two things took precedence. And I didn't really feel any burning desire to make a solo record, or, you know, that wasn't kind of what was going on for me at that time. You know, it was more about figuring out how to, you know, do the family thing.
Yeah.
And once the Eagles got back together, I mean, it was my goal was to figure out how to keep that working, how to nurture that, how to get us up and running and continuing to keep the band together now that we got back together.
So among your responsibilities, I guess is probably the right way of putting it, you know, with the Eagles as well as your solo career and obviously balancing your family life, how do you actually juggle everything? Because, you know, your schedule must be pretty hectic.
Well, you know, sometimes you're tired. You know, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, I really enjoy what I do. You know, and I'm glad I got married a little later in life. I think that's it's allowed me to spend a little more time with my family now. You know, and it's interesting because Don got married and started a family, and I got married and started a family very close to the same time.
Yeah.
So we have this bond now of being in the parent game together, and we're constantly, when we see each other, we talk a whole lot about our kids and their struggles, their successes, and how we're doing, and just all that kind of stuff, schools and sports, and all the things that sort of go in with having kids. And it's actually made, you know, it's made being in the Eagles a lot easier. You know, the Eagles is easy. You know, the Eagles is kind of like the unreal world. You know, family, parents, schools, that stuff, that's the real world.
So obviously your success began with the band, you know, way back in the early 70s. You know, you've achieved such a phenomenal amount of success. Do you ever have to pinch yourself, like, you know, even after, you know, going on 40 years?
Oh yeah.
In a career?
No, I think it, you know, I mean, it's not an everyday thing, but it isn't, it's often, I think that we realize how fortunate we are that we've been able to, you know, author such a long career, and how lucky we are.
So what do you think the secret of longevity is?
Great songs. I think a great song will take you a lot farther than an average song or a crummy song. And I think the reason the Eagles are still together now and the reason we still sell out large venues is because people have just taken the songs to heart. They love the material. They love Hotel California and New Kid in Town and Take It Easy and Desperado. And, you know, we have a pretty big list of familiar material that we can share with them. And it's really because of the songs.
So, you know, after 20 years, you've got this new record, After Hours, that's out on Monday over here in the UK.
Right.
How do you keep things fresh as an artist? You know, obviously it's important to keep things fresh for the audience, you know, with your performances and your music, but how do you sustain that freshness for yourself as an artist?
Well, I think variety is the way to do things. You know, the Eagles is like the mothership for us. We do something every year. This year's a little quieter year. We're only going to play about 15 or 20 shows. Other years, depending on what we're promoting, we could be playing up to as many as 100 shows. Yeah. But then when we're not with the Eagles, we take our time away and we do other things. And, you know, sometimes it's family stuff and other times it's solo projects. You know, for me, the great experience in making After Hours was getting to sing other people's material and, you know, developing a keen appreciation for how good the people were who wrote and sang the songs that I'm re-singing, you know, on this After Hours record. So it was really fun for me to step away and do something different.
Was it a daunting experience for you taking on other, you know, you're known as such a prolific and outstanding songwriter. I mean, you've got so many hits to sort of call your own. I mean, was it a daunting prospect to perform other people's works?
Daunting wouldn't be the word I would use, you know. It was inspiring, you know. It was a challenge, but I always felt like my voice was a good match for this material. Yeah. Like I wasn't really stepping too far out of my abilities, you know. But it's a different kind of singing, you know. When you sing it, when I sing in the Eagles, I call that guitar singing, because usually I'm up there doing this. With the songs on After Hours, it's like singing with a pianist, and it's more piano singing. And I found myself listening to my voice and like on The Look of Love, and I would go, oh, I'm supposed to sing like a trumpet. That's it. Soft, abbreviated, you know, there was a certain way it went. Another song I'd go, you know what, it's more clarinet. It's got to be more lyrical. It has to swing and bend a little bit and be sweet. And, you know, so I would find myself, you know, comparing my voice to other instruments as a way to sort of help me understand the way I was supposed to sing a particular song.
Yeah. So, you know, like we were talking about earlier, the record is a personal one for you. Is there any particular tracks on the new record that are more personal than others, and why?
Well, Caroline Now, the Brian Wilson song, is one that's particularly dear to me. I loved that song when it first came out, and you know, like a lot of people thought, you know, we thought that Pet Sounds was one of the greatest records that we'd ever heard up to that time, anyway. So I mean, I loved that song, but again, you know, it was a little daunting because, you know, I mean, I'm doing a song that was pretty darn well recorded the last time. The definitive version has already been recorded, so, you know, you just want to make sure you don't mess it up.
So, if we look at the Eagles, Joe Walsh, your band mate, he released his first album in 15 years recently as well, and Logman. Do you find that there's any competition between band members in regards to solo records? No friendly competition there?
No. I don't think that's, no, we don't really worry about that stuff, you know. I mean, I wish only the best for all my bandmates, whatever projects they're doing, you know. And first of all, I hope you have fun doing the project. And secondly, if by some, you know, quirk of fate it happens to sell, then that's good, you know. A lot of people get to hear it, then that's good too.
So when are we going to get a new record of original Frey Pennings?
Oh, you mean from the Eagles?
No, from yourself, a solo.
Oh, from myself. You know, I don't know. I haven't had, you know, I'm not saying that I'm never going to write any songs again, but I haven't had a burning desire to really make a solo record of original songs again. You know, I mean, it's not really. I'm really not thinking about that right now. I'm probably going to turn. You know, my energy right now is going to, besides promoting After Hours, then my energy turns back to the Eagles for next year as we try to figure out what we're going to do, how much we want to do. We've got a 2-DVD History of the Eagles project that is going to get finished and come out sometime in the first of 2013.
Oh, brilliant.
So then that will bring about the question, should we go on the road? Should we play shows? Should we do a History of the Eagles tour? Come on stage in and the black screen says 1972, Laurel Canyon, and then starts at Take It Easy and goes, you know, right on through. I'm not sure we've been talking about that. Some of these things happen as it's all sort of the residue of hard work. Whatever is Hotel California selling millions and millions of copies. Is certainly very that's very gratifying.
Yeah.
But was making Hotel California worth more than what it sold? And the answer is probably yes. So part of what I've really enjoyed is making the records. I love making records. I love writing songs, and I love making records. And it's the two things that I'm really good at in life. But so there's something to enjoy just in the process. And I'll tell you, the Eagles double CD, Long Road Out of Eden, is something I'm very proud of. And I'm proud because we were finally able to get back in the studio and make a studio album. And then because we've been away so long, we committed to trying to make it a double album. And I really thought top to bottom that the songs were really good. So that was nice. It was nice to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm not sure what it means anymore, but that was nice. Got an honorary Doctor of Music degree from Berkeley University.
I've seen the photo
in
on
Boston last month. That's got me feeling a little smarter. But again, this it's all the residue of hard work and trying to do a good job.
So have you got any performances planned to showcase the record over here in the UK?
I've just put out the record. I put out the record last month in the United States.
Yep.
And I went back to the East Coast and I played 5 shows, one of them in New York. After Hours came out in the United States in May. And so I went back to the East Coast, I did some television, I played 5 shows. The most memorable, though, was in New York, where I played with the New York University Symphony Orchestra. And then I went back to Los Angeles and I played at the Wiltern with the Santa Monica High School Orchestra. So I've been playing with all these incredible young musicians from ages 15 to 23. Great young players. So I'm over here now in Europe to sort of stir the pot. And hopefully this record will take seed and it'll give me an excuse to come back in a few months and play some shows. But I think it would mean more for people to have heard this record for a while and know that when I'm coming back and it says Glenn Frey's going to play with the such and such Philharmonic, they'll have an idea of what I'm going to be doing.
So how was the reaction to the record? Because it's already been released over in the US, how's the reaction been to?
It's been very good.
Yeah.
It's been very good. For me, the gratifying things are things like talking to jazz magazines and having the guy I'm talking to understand that I did a serious record. And it wasn't a dilettante, that it wasn't an attempt, it was a serious piece of work. And it was nice to talk with with some of those magazines and get a little cred. So it's been good. And then the reaction to the record overall, it's been pretty uniform down the line. First thing is I think people are a little surprised. They're surprised that I would do this kind of record, and I think they're a little bit surprised that I can sing this way. And then the second thing is I think people are intrigued by how beautiful the record is.
Definitely.
The arrangements, the string arrangements by Alan Broadbent are breathtaking. And so, I think it's been a nice surprise. Everybody's been a little bit surprised, but it's been in a very pleasant way.
What else is in the pipeline for 2012?
Well, not too much. I'm going to go back to LA and play some shows on the West Coast in September. I'm going to go to Australia because we have a big following down there, and I like to go down and have an opportunity to play some shows there as well. But I'll go first like I am here. I'll go by myself and we'll do some press and do a little TV and radio and internet stuff. And that's really about it for now.
Just take it easy.
Not working too hard.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Sorry.